In a world where two short-term rental bros come together.
What?
Not in that way, bro. There's a podcast of truly epic proportions where we talk about all things short-term rental and shoot the shit along the way. Welcome to the Co-Host Bros Podcast. Here are your hosts, Matt Codd and Austin Spitz.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Co-Host Bros Podcast. My name is Matt and I'm here with my buddy Austin Spitz, and today we have a special guest from Roaming Home Properties, Heather Meuer.
Good job.
How is it going, Heather?
Wonderful. Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
I almost said Meuer. God dang.
You did it. You did it. You did great.
Yeah, so I've met Heather a couple times and her husband as well, and I honestly always forget how to pronounce your last name, but I'm sure people butcher it all the time, so
All the time.
don't
That's
worry
okay.
about it, Matt. There you go. Awesome. We'll just jump straight into it. So, Heather, for our audience, why don't you just give us a brief rundown of what you kind of do in the short-term rental space?
Sure. Yeah, we about 2.5 years ago started investing in real estate. We started off with short-term rentals here in Branson, Missouri, and expanded to our portfolio managing and owning. And now we've got a glamping and RV resort that we are so close to being finished up on. It's been a huge project for us. So that is, I consider it short term. Obviously, it's a hospitality industry still with the glamping resort. There's 17 glamping units there, as well as 50 full hookup RV sites. So those are nightly rentals as well. So yeah, that's what we do. We've also expanded to mobile home and RV, long-term mobile home and RV parks.
So, from what I understand, it's been a big process, because when I met your husband, I met him like 2 years ago, and he was telling me we had stakes, and he was telling me how he was going through the whole process of the SBA loan, and I've been watching your progress on social media for a while now, and it's just been awesome to watch. So, I guess my question is like, what's something big that you've learned through this whole process? Because I'm sure you've made a lot of mistakes and you've learned a lot. Is there anything like big that you could share with our listeners that you go back and be like, if I could go back, I would probably maybe do this differently?
Man, I don't like to say that I would like to go back and change anything. I've learned a ton.
Sure.
I've learned a
There you go.
ton, but what we've done has got us to where we are now. And, we learn through the mistakes that we make. We learn through others' mistakes. Hopefully people can learn through our mistakes versus their own. But, I think one of the big things actually that we learned along the way, specifically with RV parks and development, because this was our first big development project. This was way bigger than we've ever done. And really, we took an abandoned campground and we've had to redo the whole thing. So we did all the utilities, everything, the roads, the infrastructure, and everything above ground. So one of the things that we learned that we didn't really take as much consideration on that we should have was the engineering. And we hired an engineer and had them, we thought, well, we know where we want the sites to be. We know those things, and we just need an engineer to put them where they belong and deal with all the utilities and, the parts that we don't understand, and make sure that everything works the way it needs to work. But what I would have done differently is we would have worked specifically with an RV park engineer or engineers that kind of specialize in RV parks, because they didn't. And that the telltale sign should have been when they came back for the first revision and said, here's the plans, and the RV sites or the patios were on the opposite side of where RVs always have their awnings. So things like that, we should have known, okay, well, this is probably not the person that should be doing this. But we thought, okay, well, that's an easy fix. Again, we know what we're doing with RVs. We know we've longtime campers and RVers, but engineering, I would say just having someone who designs those for, many, many others, that would be something specific that we just didn't think about being a necessity because we knew what we wanted as far as the layout goes. But there was so much more to the engineering that we didn't understand, that we needed someone really holding our hand on that. So we still made it happen. Thankfully, we had a great team of contractors that helped us out in that. It just took us a little bit longer to get there. And so we learned along the way that's something we definitely would do, if we did this again.
That's awesome. So where are you guys at currently as of today in the process? Because it seems like it's all kind of coming together based on what I'm watching on social media. So where are you guys at, like, as of today?
Yeah, actually, there's really exciting things happening today. I'm going to run over there after we're done. So we took a shipping container that we were just going to be using for storage, furniture storage, and we were going to resell that after we were done with it. It was just a storage unit to have on site. And we decided, we need a building for the pool equipment anyways, because we are building a swimming pool. We need a bathroom for the swimming area anyways. So let's just move that shipping container over there, put a rooftop deck on it. Now we've got a bathroom and all the, pool equipment storage within that shipping container, put a really cool mural on it. So today they're actually welding all the handrails to the top of the shipping container. So that's really fun. They're working on the deck and the top of that. They are putting in the final touches to the bell tent so that we can tie all those down where they belong. The light fixtures just went in yesterday in the insides of the tent. So there's a lot of people there doing a lot of different things, and it's really exciting. Every time I go out there, they're doing something new.
That's awesome.
When are you planning on, or when do you think that you'll go live with this, and how many sites is it? It's all RV sites, is that correct? Or do you have cabins as well?
So there's 50 full hookup RV sites. There's the RV section. It's on 13 acres. And so half of it is RVs. And then the back half is like really treed, lots of trees, lots of nature. And that is all going to be glamping tents. So some of those glamping tents are up on raised decks 10 feet off the ground that overlook the golf course next door. They all have bathrooms in them, like showers, toilets. They have split systems, so they're heated and cooled.
Okay.
We're calling those the treehouse tents, the ones that are raised up. They have private hot tubs underneath them because there's basically a covered deck underneath. So there's 15 tents and then 2 cabins.
Okay.
And so 17 glamping sites and then 50 full hookup RV sites.
So everybody should just close their short-term rentals once you open them, right?
No, there's room for everybody. The thing is, the thing though that we saw, and the reason we did what we did is because, we are here in Branson. We're familiar with the area. We have vacation rentals here. And one of the things that we found is that people really wanted 1-bedrooms with private hot tubs. And Branson, there's tons of condos, lots of 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom condos with community hot tubs, but there's not a lot of 1-bedrooms with private hot tubs. So we saw that and we made it work. I mean, I was like, hey, we got to have private hot tubs on as many of these things as we can. And we'll probably add more in the future.
No, that's a good opportunity because you're going to, you could actually raise your ARV off that because they're private hot tubs. So,
sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what, if you don't want to give away all the secrets, but what are some of the amenities that you guys are planning to offer for the site in general? Because I kind of know some of them, but I don't know if you've, put it out there, but what kind of amenities are you guys kind of looking to put in or already have in place?
I want to share all of it with you guys. So
that's awesome.
At the front, we've got our camp store. So the camp store is going to have, everything that people forget when they're going camping. We're going to have beer and wine, ice cream, all those fun things, all your, s'mores kits and all of our logoed merchandise, sweaters and hats, coffee mugs, all those things. So we're also going to have a pizza kitchen. So not anything super extravagant, but we will have a pizza kitchen. And then attached to that is also our coffee shop. And that's something I'm really excited about. So we have actually a walk-up and drive-through coffee shop. You can't go inside. It's just a coffee shack that's attached to the building. And what's great about it is it's not just an amenity for our guests, and same thing with a camp store. It is an amenity for people in the area because we are on a major road that goes it's 2 miles to the lake, the dam, the fish hatchery, Moonshine Beach, which is kind of the big swimming area that people come to when they come to Branson and they want to go out and swim at the lake. So we are right there. And as people pass by, if they decide, oh, you know what, we forgot sunscreen, or we want to stop and get some ice cream on the way back, or we want to get coffee, we're going to be the only, as far as I know, as of right now, we're the only drive-through coffee shop on that whole entire road. So that's a big deal. So we've got the coffee shop, the shipping container that's right next to it. We're going to have a big patio in front of that so people can walk up, grab their coffee at the walk-up window, climb up to the rooftop deck on the shipping container. We have a swimming pool. There's going to be 2 big areas that are kind of community areas for our guests, bonfire areas, one in the glamping section, one in the RV section up by the front. We're working on getting a pickleball court in. That probably will be after we open, but hopefully sometime this fall, early winter, and a dog park. And then another thing that we've got that's not our property, but at the back of our property, there is a hiking trail that goes from the back corner of our property, and it's state of Missouri owned. So it's the Corps of Engineer owns that property, but there's a hiking trail that goes from the very back of our property all the way down to Lake Taneycomo, which is trophy trout fishing, and the fish hatchery, which they're rebuilding that right now. So that opens up next year. And that's a big amenity that everybody loves to, or a big place that everybody loves to check out. And then the dam. So you can literally walk down to the dam, watch the water coming out, go fishing, do all that. So having a hiking trail there that we don't have to maintain, but it's right there for our guests is pretty awesome.
I think that store and coffee shop is genius. I've been to campsites that have stores and campsites that don't, and the ones that have stores make a lot of money in those stores. And that's how gas stations make their money, by selling that kind of stuff. They don't make money off gas.
Yeah.
So how many people are you planning on staffing it with? Do you need to, you think?
It depends on the season. So the great thing about, and we just hired our manager for the campground, which I'm so excited about. She's very experienced. Her and her husband have been doing this for a long time, and he's going to be taking care of our maintenance. So that's a big relief on our end. And then we're probably going to need like 2 other people, sometimes part-time, sometimes full-time, to work at, the front desk area, the camp store. We're going to have it's kind of a separate group of people to work the coffee shop, and then cleaners, of course. So we'll have 2 or 3 cleaners depending on, again, the season and how busy we are turning all those glamping tents. So, but you talked about the income from the camp store. When you're thinking about RV parks and campgrounds, or even, glamping resorts of any kind, there's a lot that you can do with different streams of income. And each one of those streams of income is great because it's an income, but it's also an amenity for guests. So yeah, you've got the camp store and the pizza and the coffee shop. We're also going to be doing, selling firewood. So that's an extra stream of income. Propane, because RVers need propane. And then we have golf cart. We're going to be doing golf cart rentals as well. And so, people are flying in, they are, maybe they're parked all the way in the back and they don't want to be driving back and forth from their glamping tent to all the way to the camp store. So they want to take a golf cart because it's like fun anyways, right? And then the laundry facilities. So we have a on-site laundry, and that's credit card operated. They go in, they wash their laundry. So again, another stream of income, but it's another amenity for our guests as well.
I definitely wouldn't forget about like the kayaks and stuff. I mean, you said you had a body of water, because those make a lot of money as well.
That's on next year's list.
Yeah. Do you have experience with the mini split ACs? If you don't, I might have a little advice for that, because I just went through a bunch of issues with mine.
I don't, but we have a project manager who is amazing. And as far as finding contract, he works for a company that does a ton of contract work for different things. So thankfully those are not that's not my lane. I don't even have to deal with it. And I'm so happy that I don't.
Get the filters cleaned once a month or so, and then get the drain line sucked out every 6 months, or you're going to have issues. Other than that, they're fantastic systems, but just what I learned this week. So That was that's my
I will
my tip.
happily learn from your mistakes instead of mine. Thanks,
Yeah,
Matt.
yeah, please do. I live a lot farther away from mine than you do from yours.
Man, I love that, and I love how you phrased it. Like, basically, they're all additional revenue streams, but the point is like you're making the place better. So, like, while you're also making money, you're providing a great experience, and by providing like things like golf carts, you're making money, but they're having the experience of driving around on a golf cart and all that. So, I think that's super cool. But I want to go back a little bit. So, how did you get into RV parks? Like, did you have a previous business before this, or what got you to the point where you were able to do something like this?
So I think we just weren't scared to think big. And previous to real estate, we had an auto parts business for 16 years. So we had bought an auto parts business and grew that. And I think that honestly, one of the things for me personally, the big numbers didn't scare me because I was used to writing, you know, very large, 6-figure checks for our inventory for batteries or whatever. So I was used to those big numbers. And thankfully, my husband Ryan is brilliant with underwriting and looking at a business and how it operates and the different streams of income and, how to kind of critically think on what that might look like. And so taking our experience from short-term rentals and our business experience from the auto parts industry, I think that really helped us and gave us the confidence to do that. And we, I always feel like you never want to know everything that you need to know before you make a move. I mean, you need to know like the first 3 steps, and then you need to have your tools and resources in order to get you the rest of the way. And so we knew the first few steps of what we needed to do. And we had our tools and our resources. We have people in our community that can help us out. We have I'm part of a mastermind, Heather Blankenship, and she is the RV queen. And so I have her as a resource and other people in her community as a resource. And so that's been a huge help. So yeah, that gave us the confidence, all those things to move forward with it.
Do you think so? Something that I've observed from you guys, it seems like you guys kind of balance each other out, you and Ryan. So,
We
do
do.
you guys have like a? Do you have like a? It seems like he has a certain set of skill set, and then you kind of have a different set of skill set, and you guys kind of come together to be like a super power couple. Would you agree with something like that?
100%. We have completely different skill sets. I am the outgoing, like I get energy from meeting people. I love meeting people. And Ryan is like super friendly, but he is not as extroverted as I am. And I'm the one that loves the management part. I love creating systems and processes and the hospitality, and problem solving when a guest has a problem. I like solving that problem. Like I'm totally fine with it. And he hears me and he gets off the phone. When I get off the phone, he's like, thank goodness that you do that. And it's not me. But then he's over here with his 13-page spreadsheet, like just all excited about it. And I'm like, ugh, but I'm so grateful for that because we really do balance each other out. And we have different personalities and different strengths. And the one thing that I think has been wonderful is being able to work with him for the last 16 years or more. We have we didn't know any better. When we first went into business, we were like 20, early 20s. And so I don't think we realized like how crazy that was at such a young age. We bought this auto parts business with my parents, and then they retired and we sold this last year. And so we kind of prepared for this, but we have made more decisions in the last 2.5 years building up the real estate business than we ever did in the last like 16 years or 14 years previous. So I'm so grateful that we work so well together and that we have our strengths. But through the last few years of doing this, we've really, really honed in on our strengths and our skills and like our lanes. And sometimes we have to talk it out, but we always have been able to come to a conclusion of, okay, well, that's going to be your thing. You have the ultimate decision on that. If you want my opinion, I'll give my opinion and take it, but you have the ultimate decision on that. So it's been wonderful.
I feel like it's like any business partnership where once you have this is the way I imagine it. Once you have your roles and responsibilities, you do these things, he does these things, and you're clear on, kind of who does what and in what areas of the business you can kind of you make it work because it kind of falls in either your lane or his lane, right?
Exactly. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's where me and my wife are at because we're trying to figure out who does what, and she is good at talking to people. I mean, I'm good at talking to people, but she's good at being like super polite about it. I mean, I don't pay attention who it is, and I'm just like, oh fuck, like I just put it out there. But she's just like, oh hey, how are you? Blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, yeah, call this customer, call this client, do this, do this. She's like, okay, no problem. So I think that's fantastic. I want to go like back. I want to know like what flipped the switch in you guys. What made you guys start real doing stuff in real estate? Like what was it like that just made you guys go like what's the story?
So we had this auto parts business with my parents, and we knew that they would be eventually retiring. And we also knew that we didn't want to continue that. We had been interested in real estate for a long time. And, like a lot of people thought that you had to have like a lot of money to invest in real estate, right? And then we started listening to Bigger Pockets episodes and, getting a better understanding of things and just getting motivated. And so a few years before we sold our business, and while we were still, my parents hadn't retired yet, but we knew it was coming. And we were like, we need to figure out something else because we don't want to continue on with this business. It just didn't have the growth and the potential that we wanted. And also we'd always known that we were interested in real estate. And previous to us owning an auto parts business, I actually worked in property management. So I think there was part of that there that I had that familiarity and I really enjoyed that. So, but we had that in our minds and started listening to things. And so we just decided, okay, we're going to look into this. We kind of picked an avenue. We were like, well, we love hospitality. I love hospitality. And so let's do short-term rentals, and we had worked on our basement. At that point, our house, we had an unfinished basement. So we listened to Bigger Pockets episodes while we finished out that whole entire, it was like 1,900 square feet of basement. So we finished that. We refinanced, did a cash out refi on our house, and bought our first short-term rental with it here in Branson, Missouri. The funny thing is, though, the very first property that we ever put an offer in on was actually an RV park in Florida that didn't work out, and I'm so grateful it didn't. But at that point, we were already. Oh, I'm just really glad that we're in the market that we're in now. Also, Florida insurance has gone crazy. So, but yeah, that's how we got started, and we immediately knew that we loved it. Before we even went live with our first property, we put an offer in and had a second one under contract. And from there, we decided, actually, we had family reach out to us and be like, hey, see what you guys are doing. And I have this money, but I don't know how to put it to use, but I'd love to buy some real estate with it. And so we're like, okay, well, we'll find a property. We will manage it, and then we'll share equity. You bring the money, we bring the work. And so then we started doing that.
Hey everybody, this is Matt from the Co-Host Bros podcast. I recently came back from a mastermind trip and I spent a lot of time talking about taxes with Ryan Bakke. So Ryan normally took on clients that had 10 plus listings. Well, he created a brand new program where he's going to take on people between 1 and 10 listings for a lot cheaper at a small business owner price. It's going to include on-demand support, monthly calls, and tax prep. They're going to do little coaching calls monthly, things like that to help you save as much money as possible on your taxes in the future, including on this year. Ryan has helped thousands of people save money, investors especially, and you really don't want to sleep on this because I think the price will go up at some point. You're going to save far more money than you spend. If you're really interested in changing CPAs and finding something better, go ahead and click the link that I posted for you inside the show notes. Now we're going back to the show.
Awesome. So for your property, for the RV park now, is all of your managing in-house? So like once it's all set up and ready to go, you and your team will handle management. You're not outsourcing that to some other co-host or property management company.
No way. No.
Gotcha.
No,
That's your
I'm
skill set.
all about, yeah, I love that. I'm all about learning, the new property management software because it's totally different than, short-term rentals. There's a difference there in the software and how that's used. It's almost more like a hotel software because you think about it, you've got a site, you've got 12 sites that are this length. And so you want somebody to come in, just like you book a hotel, you don't call up and say, "Hey, I want room 202." You say, "I want, a king bed or whatever." And then they put you in to wherever you're going to fit in, whatever room. And that way they can increase the occupancy. And that's kind of how the software works with RV parks as well.
Gotcha. So I want to pivot one time. I
Mm.
feel like lately, over the past few months, you've gotten 1 or 2 new followers on Instagram and on your social media accounts. I feel like maybe you have a little bit of momentum, not that much, but
Just one
anyways,
or
I
two,
feel like
right?
yeah, just a few. So talk about your social media experience. Like how is that? Tell us about what's happened with you over the last few months and with your social media and your personal brand.
It was an accident. I don't know what I'm doing. No, it was funny. It was in January, and I had been kind of documenting our process, the progress on the resort. It's called the Embers, so I'll refer to it as the Embers. Was documenting the process on the Embers, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm getting better." I had no idea what I was doing, making reels. Like I was figuring it out, learning, like Googling how to like add music, like everything. I was really not knowing what I was doing, and so, but I took my time. This one time I was like, this is going to be a good one. Like I could just feel it. I was like, I really took my time with this reel. I'm going to get like 3,000 likes. I was really motivated and I felt pretty confident in this reel. And I was like, I'm going to get some new followers. Like it's going to be great. And I posted it and I went from 700 followers, which was all friends and family, to 109,000 in, I think, like less than 2 months. And it took like 4 days after I posted that. And all of a sudden my notifications just started blowing up. And I was like, what is happening? And I was getting hundreds of messages and it's got 2 million views, over 2 million views last time I checked on Instagram. And I posted it on Facebook as well. And like 2 weeks later, the same thing happened on Facebook. And then all of a sudden, there's like 81,000 followers on Facebook and 2 million views on that one reel. It's just, and I jokingly say I knew it was going to go viral. I didn't. Like I was like I put a lot of work into this and this is the best one I've done. So hopefully it'll get a good response. But I didn't know how to prepare myself for the like flood of people asking questions and messages, can I work there? And it was really cool though, because even the sellers who we'd met once before, the sellers found it like from that reel. And so it was really neat to get a comment that says like, my dad built this, in the 70s and he would be so proud of what you've done with it. Like that was a special thing. But yeah, and people saying like, oh yeah, I used to live there a long time ago, because it was like a long-term RV park years and years ago. So I really was never expecting it to happen. But man, I mean, we wanted to ride that wave, and all these people were so interested in watching the progress. And I think what it came down to is people just love a story, right? They love the before and afters. They love seeing the progress of something. We took this abandoned campground and we're turning it into a glamping and RV resort. That was the first line of what I said in the reel. And I guess that captured enough people. So yeah, so we wanted to ride that wave. We formed a landing page like right away so that we could at least capture those emails, people that were interested in booking. So they'll be the first to know as soon as our bookings go live, which is hopefully in like the next week or so.
Yeah, I
So
thought that was funny because go ahead, Matt.
no, you're good. Go on.
No, I just thought it was funny because like after it took off and went viral, and then I like saw on your Instagram story, and it was like Ryan was doing something, but he was like trying to figure out like you're like when your husband's trying to figure out how to build a big social media brand, or I don't remember what it was, but it was really funny because you were capitalizing on the momentum that you had, and he was like, "I'm going to figure this out real quick." I don't know, something. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it was funny to me.
Yeah, he was so excited. He was more excited that he's like, we got to get on YouTube. We got to start making YouTube videos, and like we got to do all these things. And I'm just like, I am scared to open up my Instagram right now. And after I was like at 2:00 in the morning responding to all these people. Yeah, no, he was really excited about it. He's very proud.
Don't act like after you got the 100,000 followers, you walked up the house and like, it's Brittany, bitch.
No, I still don't know what I'm doing. Actually, I hired a social media manager, a virtual assistant
Nice.
who is now in control of that, because I'm like, I don't have time anymore. I enjoyed doing it, but at the same time, it's almost exhausting, to have to like feel like you got to make sure to be consistent and all those things. So she's great. And all I have to do, she just tells me what to do. Hey, we need a video on this. And so I'm like, okay, I can do that. So much easier.
Okay. Yeah, you never know what people are gonna like. Like it's crazy. Like I posted a video today and like I got a bunch of people liked it. I'm like, God, that wasn't even a good video. Like I didn't even say anything good, and everyone was like liking it. And it was that video I posted today, Austin, about like if you're gonna go to your vacation rental, you should stay an extra day when we were talking about whatever, and then everyone's like liking it. And I'm like, I've said way better things than this, but okay, all right, cool.
I think it's really hard to know what value somebody else is going to get out of your things, because we're in it. Like, and I have to remind myself of that too. Like, do I want to take a video of this? And then I'm like, but somebody else is going to be really excited about this, or or you sharing like this simple thing that you're like, maybe to you it's common sense, but somebody else might be like, that's a light bulb moment for them.
That's my issue, because I'm like, why would I say anything about that? Like, what? Like, and then Austin's like, I see Austin's video. I'm like, God dang, he's talking about freaking door locks. What? How do you stoop so low, man? Like, I can't do it. Like, I'm like, it pains me, like, because I already know it. Like, I don't know, it's crazy.
I remember being at that. I remember being there where I was like, can somebody please explain to me how like a dynamic pricing tool and Airbnb and Verbo connect to your PMS software, and like how does it all connect? Can somebody draw me a photo? And I remember feeling that way because I couldn't find the information out there. Maybe I wasn't looking at the right place, but I remember feeling really dumb. And so like the door lock thing, there's somebody out there that's going to be like, finally, I get it now.
Yeah.
And I think
go ahead, Austin.
I was just going to say, I think the majority of our followers, like, unless they're like super into this industry, the stuff that's very simple to us that we know every day is the stuff that you need to share, because the other 90% of people are like, huh, I didn't even understand that was necessary. I never thought about that from managing, short-term rentals. So like just a small percentage of people actually know a lot of the simple stuff that we're sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why we do the Q&As and the tips. So to try to Austin's better at it, but yeah.
To us, they're elementary, but to most people, they don't know this stuff. So it's helpful.
Right.
Yeah, it's a constant learning game, though. Like you said, like sometimes you just jump in. You're like, I just need to know step 1 and step 2, and the rest of it, it's like, hey, let's see what happens. And it's crazy because when you sit back and you think, like, what other time in my life would I have just said, you know what? I know what 1 and 2 is. Fuck it, let's just try the rest of it and hope for the best. So it's pretty insane. What you got a breakdown on what you guys paid for the acreage and what your budget is? Or if you want to share that, or what do you think?
I
Call your husband.
This is Brian's lane.
Let me share my screen.
I looked at too many numbers since then. I should know these things. But I like information in, information out if I don't need to keep it. Gosh, I believe we bought the land for 1.2, and all in, I think we're at just over 5 million with the project. And I cannot remember what it appraised for after completion. but it's good.
Nice.
So yeah.
What's your
excited.
projection? What do you think you're gonna make? I mean, I know you can't take account for the store really and the rentals as you add on, because I mean when you start adding on those rentals, those kayaks and all those like paddle boards and all that stuff, I mean that shit's just gonna skyrocket you, and I would suggest maybe try to get a couple and then see what the demand
Oh
looks
yeah,
like, so you know what the next season is like. But yeah, I
for
mean, what are
sure.
you guys projecting like yearly? What do you think?
Yeah. That's another thing. I wish I would have thought to ask him.
Where's he
Because
at?
I know, Ryan. Um, I think he's upstairs trying to
Let's
wrangle our
conference him
kids.
in.
he's, he's wrangling kids and dogs. Gosh, it's over 1 million a year gross, and I can't. I mean, I know that doesn't really help because gross doesn't matter, right? I mean, if it makes 1 million a year and your expenses are,
Yeah, if I
900.
could do quick math in my head, I mean, it seems pretty good to me.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not including. So the coffee shop is a funny thing. We initially were not going to be. We were building the coffee shop and we were going to lease it out, and so we were just going to be leasing it out for like $800 a month or $1,000. Again, it's a small little shop, but we found that the area coffee roasters and other businesses, they were like, we don't really have the capital to do that right now, and buy equipment for it. But we talked to one of them who was like the number one. They're really popular here. Everybody loves them. It's a great company, and they were like, well, we will train your people. We'll wholesale you the beans if you guys run it. And so we'll get your people trained, because I know how to drink coffee really well. I'm a professional at that, but I am not a professional at actually making coffee unless I hit the brew button. I hear there's more to it than that. So yeah, they're going to be training our staff and supplying the beans, and that way we can actually run it, and we're going to make obviously a much better return than the lease amount that we were thinking we were going to make. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I'm really excited about that.
I mean, busy season, you may make the least amount in a day. I mean,
Right?
yeah, I mean, why would you boil a pot of water and make your own coffee when I could just go right up to the store, spend the $5, and you already know you could overprice it. But I mean, and the price you get the beans for, it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer,
Well, and again, when we were initially thinking that, we hadn't at that point figured out that we were going to put a shipping container right next to it with a cool mural with a rooftop deck right on top, and then have this amazing patio area with like gas fireplace and all this fun stuff right out front. So it's not just a coffee shop, it's like an experience, and you don't get to have your coffee on a rooftop deck everywhere in Branson. That's kind of a unique experience. So again, it's not even just for our guests, it's for everybody driving by, and I think that's going to be a big draw for the people in the area.
Definitely. Awesome.
What you got, Matt?
Oh, I thought
Got anything?
I thought you had something. I had texted you for you to go next.
Yeah. If we're looking down at our phone, we're not being rude. We're just kind of trying to prevent these kind of situations from happening, but it happens sometimes, so it's all good. Yeah, let's talk about this. So what do you think? How is like the power of networking? Because I see you at a lot of conferences and you're very social, so you interact with a lot of people. Has that impacted your business in any way with connections you've made, and how has it impacted your business, I guess?
100%. It's so important. Again, I love meeting people. I love getting to know people and finding out, what they're excited about, what they're passionate about. And we've gotten partnerships through this. So our long-term RV park, mobile home park that we just closed on a few months ago, our partner on that, I found through the mastermind that I'm in, the retreat that we went to. Her and I connected, and she's a CPA. She's super successful, and she doesn't have time to go, finding properties and managing them and all that stuff. So, she's at the point now where she just wants to be able to put her money somewhere and invest it in real estate. Obviously, she knows the benefit of that. So yeah, she said, "Hey, let me know the next time you've got a deal." And like a week later, I gave her a call, and We'd had this kind of show up to us, and so brought her in on it, and it's a win-win situation. And on the Umbers, on this glamping resort, kind of the same thing happened. Just I think it all boils down to telling people what you're doing and what you're excited about, because one of our partners, Zasha Smith, she is an investor in Hawaii, and I've been following her for a long time on Instagram and seeing all the great things she does. And I just reached out to her and like commented on one of her stories one time. It was like, what do what are you doing in real estate? And I commented, short-term rentals, but we're looking at this abandoned campground. And she responded and she was like, oh, really? Where's it at? I'm really interested in campgrounds. And I was like, well, we're looking for a partner if you're interested. And that's how, she came on board. And so, and then our CPA, like another one, we just told him, okay, what are you doing? Let's look at your tax planning for the rest of the year. And we said, well, we've got this campground that we're working on. And he's like, how do I get in on this? So just telling people what you're doing, I think, is huge. And knowing, what others are looking for.
That's crazy. So you could almost say that maybe this all spurred from an Instagram DM potentially.
Really, seriously.
That's
and
wild.
still blown away by that. But at that point, you're talking to somebody and you're basically saying like, yeah, you don't know me, but do you want to bring a few $100,000 to the table so we can do this deal? But I think a lot of people, when it comes to partnerships, when it comes to money lenders, they get really, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to ask somebody for money, or I don't want anybody doing me a favor. I need to do it on my own. But that is not what it is. There is value in everything. And there's value to the money that someone brings to a deal, but there's also value to finding the deal, managing the deal, getting it under contract for, a great price, and all those things. And so there's all these little levers and that you need to look at. And it's not about the money. We actually had someone at one point, that wasn't really familiar with partnerships. We'd told them about a deal and they said, well, I see that you guys found this deal, you got under contract, and you're asking, I want to put money into it, but I'd really like to see you put some skin in the game. And we're like, well, the skin in the game is our time, our finding the deal, our negotiations, our management of the, those types of things. And, that was not a partnership that we wanted to be a part of, because we want somebody that understands the value in what everyone is bringing. So, yeah, but it's out there. People are wanting to put their money to work, but they don't want to have to work for it. And time is valuable.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. You get your you bring the skill set to the table. I'd like to get into something like that eventually, like whether I don't know how I would do it, but somehow where I could put our management company into a potential, within like 2 to 5 years of managing, we take, 50% equity or something, like maybe not that specifically, but using my skill set as a co-host where somebody might have the money, they we buy a property together, they buy it, but we work something out in terms of like, I manage it at this percentage until this year, and then maybe I can get it on the deal. So I'm always looking for something like that as an opportunity as well. But it's kind of similar to exactly like what you guys did. And it's without you, it's not doable. So if he's saying, well, I want to see you put money in, it's like, well, this doesn't happen without me anyways.
Well,
So,
or then it's okay. Well, if we are putting money in, then we have more skin in the game. So then we need to figure out, then those other levers, equity. Maybe then we're going to need a larger equity position, because now we're putting money in and we're doing this, and we're managing it and we found the deal. So there's, we're going to put a value to everything. Then we need to put a value to like a finder's fee, right, and a management fee, and all those different things. So yeah, and there's so many different ways to put a deal together, partnerships together. It's just at the end of the day, and when we were trying to figure it out, I was like, I wish somebody would just tell me, like, if you do this, then you get this much equity or this much. And it's not that. It's very gray, and it's whatever makes, everyone happy. When everyone feels like they've won, then that's the deal.
I think that's the point with any deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. So just so everybody's listening, Austin and I are looking for cash partners. But so I'm gonna ask some Instagram questions just because I'm just curious. Are you gonna name your next dog Instagram, considering Instagram blew up your life in more than one way? Got you a partner and blew you up,
No.
or
Uh,
child?
I That's funny that you say that. First of all, I think we should have a sign on our house that says no more living things. I'm listening to my kids stomp upstairs, which I'm glad they're happily playing up there. But we have 2 dogs, 4 kids, and my husband and I have joked that we're going to put a sign on our door that says no more living things, because we're at our limit with the the juggling that we're doing at the moment. So, no more dogs. I don't know that I would name them Instagram though. That's I don't know. I don't know if I have that much confidence.
They might deserve it.
Confidence.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
Oh
my
my God.
mother-in-law's in town, so all my nieces and nephews are over, and I looked at them all. I said, "I'm doing a podcast. If I hear one thing, I'm gonna come out there." Because they're sitting there playing ping pong like next door. My son's blasting his music behind me. I'm like, "Oh my God, you guys, this is like the worst timing ever."
Oh,
Um,
I'm gonna call you and have you talk to my kids the next time on
oh,
the
I'll
podcast.
scare the shit out of a kid. Everyone's like, they're like,
Thanks.
"Why are you so mean to the kids? But why are you so fun?" Like, I'm the first one to throw you 30 feet in the air in the pool. I don't care, but it's what it is. Like, you got to have respect, and then at the same
There you
time,
go.
let's have a good time.
Right.
The other Instagram question or Facebook question: are you getting monetization off social media at this point?
I wish, if
Those
I wish
mofos.
I wish I would have known to do again, didn't know what I was doing, guys. I'm not kidding. I wish I would have known to do that before that reel went viral because I don't know how much money I would have made, but like maybe a few $100. I'm not sure. But I just had my social media person do that for me, and I think that I think I've got like 4 cents. I'm not joking. I didn't even know somebody sent me stars. Is a star like a penny or like
Yeah, I
part
think
of a
it's
penny?
some kind of money, but like, I mean, that's awesome 'cause now your virtual assistant's on the track to pay for herself.
Oh gosh, that's so cool. I think my balance is up to like 4 cents. I'm not joking.
That's
It's
cool though.
very
Hey,
minimal.
that's 4
But you
cents
know
you
what?
didn't, you know what? Hey, yeah.
I haven't had any reels go viral since then. So I'm just super curious to
Do
know.
a live event, do like a live Q&A for like an hour and see what happens. Like,
Oh,
I bet you people will start sending you stars and skateboards and all the other bullshit, whatever it is. I don't really know what they send you, but I mean, maybe you'll, pay for your VA at that point.
okay. Will
Yeah.
do. Sounds good.
So, do you have another next? I mean, Austin said you go to a lot of conferences. Do you have a next conference that you're going to?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna pause for a second here so that we can get this thing up and going. But the next conference that I'm going to, or it's not a conference, it's the retreat that my mastermind is part of. So it's Heather Blankenship's retreat, and that's in November. And I actually get to speak on that for the first time. I get to be on stage by myself, and that was a goal of mine for this coming year. So hitting that goal early, but I'm speaking about partnerships and being in partnership with your spouse or significant other and what that looks like and the challenges and tools and ways that you can make that work better.
There's your money right there on Instagram, right there. Just get that recorded and get some snippets of that,
Yeah,
and then people will fall for that. So that
cool.
that's actually great.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
So I've been following Heather for a long time on Instagram, and
Stalker.
she's not listening. She's not listening to this, but you're trailing her on the follower count. It's getting close. So, um, yeah, good
Who's
job.
trailing? Who's trailing who? I didn't
Uh,
catch that.
oh no, Heather's just right behind her on the follower count.
You said you've been following Heather, and Heather's
Oh,
trailing
Are you
who?
talking about Heather Blankenship?
No, I've been. Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh,
There's two
Heather and
Heathers.
I am Heather.
Heather.
There's
Okay, I
well,
was like, what, dude? Like, Austin, what did you smoke
yeah.
before you started? That's my job.
Sorry.
Jeez.
I sorry, I got sidetracked. I didn't realize it was the same name. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyways, I've been following her on Instagram for a while. I was just checked and I was like, huh, I'm curious, like that's kind of your mentorship group. And I was like, wonder, you're pretty close. So
She doesn't need it anymore. She's got a lot of awesome things going. It's so cool being a part of her group. She's such a wealth of knowledge and has created such a fun group of women that do all kinds of stuff in real estate. So it's been great. I love it.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So the next conference I'm going to, Austin, is I'm going to IMN. I just got my tickets just now. So you're going to be getting your tickets soon, Austin. So check your email. Co-host Bros will be there.
I want to go. I wanted to go to that one.
I can
next time.
We can.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They've already sent me. Well, I spoke on a panel last year at the other IM in Miami.
Yeah.
And so they sent me an invite and they want, but I can't.
You're like, can't do it. I'm too busy checking people welding stuff and
right
containers and. Well, good. I'm glad you said it was good because then I'm excited to go.
It is.
So
it is. You'll enjoy it.
So, is your only market Branson? Everything you have is in Branson?
Branson, and I mean, our long-term park is 2 hours north of here. But our buy box is, we've kind of, sat down and figured out what our buy box looks like again, kind of refigured things, is really just 4 hours within Branson, kind of a 4-hour radius of Branson, and anything from campgrounds, mobile home parks, RV parks, to smaller hotels, resorts. That's what we're looking at.
So that's the next step, hotels and resorts.
Oh yeah.
And you guys haven't decided to go outside of the area? Like you don't like another state or anything like that, or you just don't? You rather be close as possible to be able to put your eyes on it all the time?
No, 4 hours. So we're 20 minutes from Arkansas right now, and that gets us into Kansas as well. It's just when you've got a buy box, you want to have some. You got to put a criteria to it, or you got to have some defined area. So as of right now, we're going to focus on a 4-hour radius of Branson, and that gets us into a whole bunch of Northwest Arkansas, Kansas City, lots of different markets really. But until we kind of hone in on our systems and processes for looking at those, outside of this area, then we'll probably pick a different market and work on that too. If somebody came to us and said, hey, I've got, something in an area outside of that, but here's the deal, and it worked out, and it was something where we could have, management in place there, absolutely, we'd look at it.
So everybody, you heard it first. You heard the buy box. So if you got a deal, hit up Heather at Roaming Home Heather. I know that, we appreciate you coming on and appreciate your time, and it's been about 50 minutes. So if you have anything you want to plug or tell people where to find you, if you DM me with all your information too, I put it all in the show notes, or DM Austin, whatever, and he can send it to me. But we really appreciate you coming on, and your guys' story is pretty amazing. So
thank you so much. It's been a really fun journey. It's been fun sharing with you guys. And yeah, they can find me at Roaming Home Heather on Instagram, Heather Meuer on Facebook. And then the Embers is the glamping resort that we've been talking about. So the Embers Branson on Instagram, and theembersbranson.com is our website.
And I want to know when it's open, because I'd like to stay. I actually have never been to Branson, but I don't need a 5-bedroom house for me and my wife. Like my son can, I don't know, figure something else out. You can take care of the dogs.
our goal is an August open. So we will be finished by August. I can't right now tell you whether it's going to be the 5th of August or the 30th of August.
You're already booked.
That is our goal. So
you're already booked with all those DMs on Instagram. Nobody's seeing your guys' place till the year after if they're already DMing you to get in. So
oh gosh, that would be a wonderful problem to have. We'll find out soon enough, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Heather. We really appreciate it. And yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much, guys.
I'm waiting for Austin. Nice. Oh, there we go.
Thanks, Austin.
The Co-Host Bros Podcast.